And you mentioned FDR. It goes back to something similar he created. One of the things out there right now, though, and not too many know it, there's something called, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's, I think it's called the Employee Free Choice Act. Okay, it's in the legislation now. It's not. It's some of the obstruction that is caused by corporate America and gets in the way of unions trying to organize. And you know, a lot of people are intimidated and they fear organization, fear for their jobs. Because you don't have a job today, you just can't go out and find another one right away. Okay, so it's difficult to, I understand, it is difficult to organize. One of the biggest things to look at is Walmart. There's a company that should, but biggest employer, they should have their people organized. And I think that people fear it. I think they want it, but they fear it. I don't want to lose my job. These are people that just come over. They come over from another country where fear is an everyday part of their life, you know. And but I believe that in time it will be the new workers that come over here that will make the drastic and radical changes that are needed. In the beginning of the century, it was when the unions first started. It was basically, I'm not saying other nationalities, but Irish and Italian immigrants over here. They were hungry and they went after what they wanted. Great movies are out there, you know, like Hoffer and Fist, that gives you an idea of what they went through to build up to get where they were going, and it created the middle class. Today we see it eroding, but it'll come back, but it differently. It's going to come back in a different manner. It won't be the way we know it. What we know today will be altogether different. Probably hardly even recognizable.
So, what we were talking about before we came on the air, and I, you know, of course, I'm a Democrat. I said that I believe that Barack Obama, the president, fell into the office at the right time, because this right here is the time to, if you count back from those great infrastructure jobs that was done, that really set the pavement, set the playing field for what we have today. And if we look at the new technology that we need now, I believe that the president, Barack Obama, has fell right into the hands of what needs to be done. I think that he will be able to do a wonderful job, because you can't go wrong with infrastructure.
Yeah, you're right, but like I mentioned earlier, we were talking, not that Obama's biting off more than he can chew, but he is one man, and there are tremendous roadblocks, tremendous obstacles. Corporate America has a lot of clout. The outsourcing of work, taking work overseas, it all comes down to money, and it's all politics. And you know, and that's what he has to face. He does have the legislation now. The Congress, he has the Congress, the House, the Senate, and maybe he can accomplish some things that will favor labor. Hopefully, he will. But in his 4 years, or maybe if he goes on to 8 years, I'm sure that he'll make some headway. But for what they expect in the overall picture, I mean, he's not God. You know, I mean, how much he's one man, but we'll see some good things happening in labor with him.
See, I got to go to a call in now. A young man that put a company together called whatsgood.com, and it's an internet company that deals with internet predators, people that try to solicit your kids and things. They won't be able to do it. So if you can let them through, Melissa, please. Ray?
Yeah, Jackson,
how you doing? How you doing, Ray Spies?
How are you?
I just heard the commercial before I come into the room here, and conference room here, and I tell you, the commercial is out of sight. A better job than I could have done.
That's a good friend of mine, Bob Thomas, down in Virginia Beach.
Oh, wow. He done a wonderful job. So we do have it. Bob Hunt received it in the computer. Now, Ray, what was the opening day like for your for the website?
It was pretty good. I had a couple schools call, and they were interested in getting their whole schools. I actually signed up for whatsgood.com, which is great. And what we're doing, I'm encouraging other school systems, with principals and PTAs, to sign up all the kids that they have. And what I'm doing is giving those PTAs and schools $1 back toward from each kid that registers toward the school and toward developing, maybe buying books or whatever they need to buy.
Wow, wow. And can you explain to the audience exactly what this internet service is about, whatsgood.com?
Well, what we do is we make it possible that children internet free of sexual predators, cyberbullying, and cyberstalking. We give them every avenue to look at all the entertaining things that kids have. We a social networking site for teenagers. We have all the internet sites that they want to access, except we eliminate the sites such as with any pornography, profanity, anything like that. So we make it a safe environment for children and make it possible for them to enjoy the internet the way a child should enjoy the internet.
Wow, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, we're going to have you back up here. Give everybody your internet and your telephone number, because we're going to have you back up here next month.
Okay, we're at www.whatsgood.com. And what's good is spelled W-U-T like Tom, S. It's an acronym for the World's Ultimate Tracking System, WUTSGOOD.com.
Okay, okay, Ray, thank you, and I'll call you later.
Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Okay.
Well, you heard whatsgood.com, and also for the more mature crowd is whatsgood.net. I was going to put a commercial together for Ray's company, but, you know, I'm an amateur. So I guess I was just going to say safety, determination, commitment, protection, security, whatsgood.com. All right, we're back with Joe Matagrano talking about our state of the union, of the actual unions.
That's what I'm sure I don't speak for all union people.
You have a good.
But you know, strong unions. You got strong and focused unions are good for the workers, and really they're better for the nation, all around for everyone. But you know, like just saying, today it seems like everything is out of whack, and that's not totally the union's fault, perhaps.
Right, sure.
But it's their opportunity. Okay, go out, reorganize. If me starting from square one, do it. Do whatever it takes to go out there and do it.
But what is the American businessman? It's kind of like he's turned like a sour apple against the unions after the 60s and 70s, and you know, people, you know, come to me and they talk all the time about how these companies were set up overseas and stuff to underplay. You know, in other words, if we're getting paid, let's say $20 an hour, if they can have that company in another country for, let's say, $2 a day or whatever the case may be, and then bring the stuff back to us, I mean, how will we compete?
Look what it's done to the economy.
I see what it does. Yeah.
You got this enormous Chinese imports coming in.
Yes,
okay, you say it's a few dollars cheaper, and we're all guilty. We go to Walmart, we go to the dollar store. I mean, we're all living, hand to mouth. I mean, so we bend to it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that.
Sure.
But you've got to, when you can, buy American goods. Yeah, they go overseas and they produce something that's cheaper, American companies, and even bringing it back becomes cheaper. But here's the problem. If you don't have the American worker producing or manufacturing, and he doesn't have the salary, how is he going to buy your product?
That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
And they don't seem to realize it. It's like the quick dollar. There is so much cooperative greed. You know, one thing that really, really brightened my day that I heard, you know, with Obama. I'm not going to say I agree with everything that he has to say, but there are certain things I really agree with. And one of the things that he said was when it came to the stimulus package.
Sure.
And he ran up there and he said it. And boy, I thought it took a lot to say it. And he said basically what he says: if you take the money, it's the taxpayers' money, and you take the money and I give you the money, you're at $500,000. You don't exceed that, you know. And those bonuses disappear, yes. Which is the right thing.
Yes, without a doubt, without a doubt.
You know, and
yes.
I had to stand up and applaud
yes.
for something like that, because we see this. Look. We see the corporate, and you see it firsthand with
sure.
the company that you work
yes.
for. Look at what's happened with you. 5-6 years ago, I was there. You gave back a huge part of your salary.
Yes, I gave back a whole,
and
yes.
I think you didn't do it reluctantly. You
no.
gave it back because the company was hemorrhaging.
Sure.
You had to stop the bleeding.
Yes.
The company dies, the union dies.
Yes.
You knew that, and your family suffers.
Yes.
So you take the cut and you bite the bullet.
Yes.
Okay. So instead of now the company losing $500 million,
right.
they only lose $250 million
sure.
or whatever. And they tell you, we did such a great job that we're now going to take millions of dollars in bonuses. Yeah. What great job did they do? That was the money you put in there. They took your salary and put it in their pocket and walked away.
And that should be against the law.
Well, you